Have you ever wondered how some people remain calm, no matter what happens? It's not that life is easier for them. It's just that they've stopped expecting fairness from the world and started expecting strength from themselves. If you want to stop worrying and find peace, listen carefully. Because toxic people are not just loud, cruel, or dramatic. Sometimes they're soft-spoken. Sometimes they compliment you. Sometimes they cry. And if you're not paying attention, that will feel like love. You think you're calm? Wait until someone tests you. Then we'll see. So before you relax, take a second to like the video and subscribe, but only if you truly enjoy what I'm building here. PST. And let me know in the comments, where are you watching from and what time is it right now? If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe so we can continue exploring deeper Stoic lessons together each day. I've noticed something strange. The more I practice kindness, the more I attract people who mistake it for permission. And the worst ones don't want to hurt me. Not exactly. They want to be near what I protect so they can control it. That's the strange thing about empathy. It isn't weakness, but it feels like an open gate. And toxic people, they don't kick down doors. They wait for the kindest person in the room to hold it open for them. Seneca once said, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." But he could have added, when you're deeply empathetic, it's not just your imagination you carry, it's everyone else's too. A friend once cried to me about being excluded by coworkers, so I intervened on her behalf. Later I found out she had left them all on red for months. It wasn't that she was a victim, she just knew how to look like one. And I believed her, because I wanted to. That's the real bait. Empaths don't just feel others' pain, they often feel responsible for it. This is where the philosophers split. There's an old academic debate about whether Stoicism leads to emotional detachment or deeper engagement. Some say it numbs us. Others say it sharpens our discernment. I think both are true. It took me a while to realize that some people tell you their pain not to heal it, but to hold it like a leash around your neck. Epictetus wrote, "Don't explain your philosophy, embody it." He also walked with a limp. His master broke his leg in slavery. And yet, he never used it to get pity. That's what I try to remember. Pain is not currency. It's not a tool. And anyone who trades in it to gain control is not healing. They're hunting. If you have empathy, you're not weak, but you do need to know what it attracts, because some are just leaning to see how far you'll bend. There's something oddly magnetic about people who seem helpless. I used to believe that was a sign of compassion in me. But I've learned, toxic people don't always show up loud and demanding. Sometimes they arrive quietly, full of self-pity, drenched in apologies, needing just one more chance. They don't break boundaries, they melt them. It took me years to see it. When someone tells you they're broken, and you believe it without question, you forget to ask, broken by what? And more importantly, have they stopped breaking others? There's a quote from Marcus Aurelius I keep close. "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." But what happens when someone else's emotions become your outside event? What if their sadness feels like a command? That's where empathy turns sideways. Because you're not helping anymore, you're enabling. I once had a colleague who was constantly overwhelmed. Deadlines crushed her. Emails stressed her out. Simple tasks sent her spiraling. So I took on her work, again and again. She thanked me, then asked again. After a while, it wasn't even a conversation, it was expected, and I felt guilty the one time I said no. That's how the trap works. The Stoics warned against living by emotion, but they never said don't feel. Seneca once kept a pet boy, yes, a young slave, whom he later freed and educated. It's not a detail that makes him perfect, but it shows that even a master of self-discipline can wrestle with compassion. Even he tried to find the line. Some philosophers ask, can empathy survive without turning into moral obligation? Where does kindness end and self-erasure begin? Toxic people are good at drawing those lines with invisible ink. They hint, they sigh, they disappear when you set boundaries and reappear when you drop them. It's not always abusive, but it's always a slow erosion. And the hardest part? You still want them to be okay. You still hope your care will reach them. But as I learned the hard way, empathy isn't a cure, especially for someone who uses their pain as a mirror to make you forget your own reflection. Somewhere along the way, I started thinking that strength meant having no boundaries. That if I were really grounded, really stoic, I could endure anyone, any chaos, any cruelty, any sadness. But what I didn't understand is that strength without boundaries is just exposure. People who want control, if you crave harmony, you'll comply. If you crave to be seen as good, you'll comply even faster. But Marcus Aurelius said, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." He didn't say, "Let them walk all over you." There's a quiet strength in not reacting, but there's a different kind of strength in walking away before someone turns your silence into servitude. A mentor of mine had a strange rule. He kept a list of two-time askers. If someone asked him for a big favor once, no problem. Twice? That's a pattern. 3 times? That was a no. He said, people who ask twice already know you'll say yes. That's why they keep coming. I used to think that was cynical. Now I think it was honest. There's a deeper philosophical question here. Can boundaries coexist with radical compassion? And the Stoics seem to say yes, but not loudly. They lived it in subtle ways. Cato, for example, wore shabby clothes in the Senate, on purpose. He wanted to remind the others he couldn't be bribed, not even by appearance. His strength wasn't in softness, it was in integrity. And I've learned that true empathy must live beside integrity. Without it, your care becomes a tool, just one more lever someone else can pull. Now, when I meet someone who tests me with guilt or praise, I don't get angry. I just ask myself, quietly, is this connection growing me or draining me? Is this helping them or just feeding their control? Because real empathy doesn't mean being open to everyone. It means being open to truth. And sometimes, the truth is that saying no is the kindest thing you can do. You don't need to become cold to protect your peace. You don't need to stop caring. You just need to care with clarity. There's a kind of love that lifts people, and there's a kind that drowns them, and you with them. Stoicism teaches us not to harden, but to hold firm, to look gently at others, even when we walk away, to offer help, but never at the cost of our dignity, to give support, but not ownership of our time, our mind, or our soul. Remember, peace isn't found in the absence of people. It's found in your ability to remain yourself around them, even the difficult ones, especially the manipulative ones, because they reveal to you exactly where your boundaries still need work. You're not here to fix everyone. You're here to live with grace, and to leave quietly when that grace is no longer respected. So be kind, but be firm. Be open, but don't stay wide open. And above all, let your calm become your gatekeeper. If you found this helpful, take a deep breath. Let go of what isn't yours to carry.